Good morning and welcome back to the Esther Effect. My name is Georgia and this is God's channel. I wanted to share something that happened a couple weeks ago. It actually changed my life. So I was just kind of like dealing with like in a funk. I talked about it in a different video. I was kind of going through like a funk of just like thinking about not really knowing my identity. I was really trying to ask the Lord, take away all the gifts, like being good at basketball, all these good things that I'm really good at, and then what's left. I know that that's not who my identity is, not in basketball. So who am I? Like, who am I really? And I was just really searching this out, and the Lord had revealed a couple things to me. He said, when you were young, you played basketball, and you were really good at it right away, and it became like your identity in basketball because you were naturally really good. And so first, that was a false identity, and then there were some girls when I played basketball that kind of just tore me to shreds because I was just naturally really good. I didn't really have any skill. I was just really tall and really fast and agile, and I could just play really well. And they didn't really like it, that I could just play naturally really well. And so they were intimidated, and so they kind of just like kicked my feet out from underneath they just tore me to shreds, always talking about me behind my back and leaving me out. And so it was just really interesting. So the Lord showed me, he was like, so first you had a false identity, and then your false identity became skewed, and you had a skewed false identity. So two double whammies, and you had carried that out with you the rest of your life. And so I was just trying to like figure this out, like, why do I think this? Because the Lord revealed to me that I was feeling like I wasn't enough, and that was affecting every other area of my life. And I was like, well, where did that come from, and why do I feel that way? And so the Lord started to reveal that to me, and I was spending a lot of time, I was just like going through all these things, and the Holy Spirit was revealing a lot of different things, like an orphan spirit and this and that and all these things. And I had repented and broke all agreements, anything I verbally said, and I went through everything. And finally I was like, Lord, I don't know what to do, because I was still feeling anxiety and still feeling all these yucky things inside, but I did everything I knew to do. And I had talked to friends about it, and they said, well, it's never going to be anything you do, the Holy Spirit has to do it. So I was like, okay. But I was kind of remembering that, and then the Lord said, hey, do you want to go to the gym? You've done everything you think that you can I do it now? Let's go to the gym. And I said, well, let's figure it out. Let's not go to the gym. What are you doing? Like, let's figure it out. He was like, no, I think it's time to go to the gym. You need to clear your mind. So I went to the gym and I lifted, and I was about to go up the stairs to go on the treadmill and run, which I normally do, but the Lord stopped me and he said, hey, do you want to shoot? The basketball courts are right here. Do you want to shoot? I know you love it. And I was like, yeah, awesome, like, let's go. So I started shooting, and I was spinning the ball and squaring up and shooting. And and the Lord just started to reveal to me, he said, I've given you all these different gifts. I've given you like the gift to be able to draw and to paint and to play basketball and to run and do he just started naming all these different gifts. He said, I never gave you these gifts so that they would be your identity or to be who you are. I gave them so that the world would see and the world would know that you're my chosen one, and that just like David and like Solomon, it's so clear that you're chosen by God. And it's just everything that you do glorifies me, he said. And he's just going through all the different gifts of things that he's given me. And he said that was never meant to be your identity in basketball. So you had a skewed false identity, and that was never meant to be you. So that's not who you are, and you know that. And I was like, yeah, I know that. And then he was telling me all this stuff, and I spun the ball and squared up to shoot. And he said, look where you're standing. And I was standing on the court, and he had just gotten rid of everything. I just started weeping and weeping, but he had gotten rid of everything, my false, skewed identity, and he revealed to me that they're just gifts to glorify him, that they were never meant to be who I am. And he told me, and it's funny because we have a worship elective, and they talked about it in the elective, and it's So he said, 1 Peter 2:5. It says, this is who he told me that I am. Come and be his living stones who are continually being assembled into a sanctuary for God. For now you serve as holy priests, offering up spiritual sacrifices that he readily accepts through Jesus Christ. And I think also, and this is what I always continually think of now when, I'm just always thinking like a holy priest. But it says in 1 Peter 2:9, but you are God's chosen treasure, priests who are kings, a spiritual nation set apart as God's devoted ones. He called you out of darkness to experience his marvelous light, and now he claims you as his very own. He did this so that you would broadcast his glorious wonders throughout the world. And that's what he said about the gifts. He did this so that you would broadcast his glorious wonders throughout the world. But that we're chosen treasure, priests who are kings. And that's who you are. And that's who I am. But nothing about our gifts. And I feel like we so quickly, even when we quickly start to skew our identity when we get these gifts. Even when we start to walk in power in the spiritual realm. For example, prophecy. When we start to do practice prophetic, like start prophesying over people, and when we start seeing people get healed, it's not about those things. These are just gifts that always glorify the Lord. Same if you're really good at dance. It's about glorifying him and doing it unto him. So I was just weeping on the court, just weeping and weeping. And I just started praying over the ball and praying over the court. And the Lord had just completely taken that out of my life and put these things in 1 Peter 2:5 and 1 Peter 2:9. So I hope this encourages you. I love you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.